it's Fantasia. Welcome to my channel, Sewing with Tay. Today is another sew along. This is part 2 of Simplicity's 3010. We are going to make the skirt. Hopefully it'll be pretty easy. If you haven't already, go check out part 1 where I made B, which is the top. I am using a sweater knit kind of fabric that I got from Joann's, so it does have some issues with fraying, so we'll work through that as we sew it, but I'm hoping this one will be pretty easy and pretty quick. So let's jump right into this. If you're new here, I make videos on sewing, DIYs, sewing hacks. I've been trying to document my mini lock process. I did a braid out today that came out super cute. But if any of that is your cup of tea, head over and hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you know when I'm making new videos. But let's hop right into it. Alright, the skirt for this guy only has 3 pieces. We have our front and our back, which are the same pieces. This guy has a slit, so there's a slit right here. You only want to put that on one side. And then there is the waistband here. So we're just going to start by sewing our side seams together. First, I'm going to get these pins out the way and get the pattern folded up and out the way. But first, I did not mark my dart here, my notch here for the slit. I always end up changing this, so we'll see how that goes. They're always a little conservative for me. Alright, I think that's all of the pins. Alright, so for our skirt, we're going to put right sides together. I am going to sew one side down with seam allowance. I'm going to sew one side down with my serger. The other side, I'm going to serge these edges, and then I'm going to sew down to my, that's if I can find it with this fabric. I'm going to sew down to my slit or my notch there. So I'm going to sew up from there, and then I'm just going to serge this opposite side. But I do want to put a pin right there. So for this side, for straight things like this, I don't typically pin. A little nervous about this being a little stretchy, so I'm just going to put a couple pins in place just to make sure things don't get stretched out. So just a couple in here. And we're going to head over to the serger. Alright, here is the waistband for the skirt. While we're over at our serger, we're going to go ahead and sew these together. What we need to do is sew top to bottom on one side, and on the other side, it's actually not marked on here. On one side of the waistband, we're going to sew top to bottom. On the other side of the waistband, we're going to mark the middle. We're going to mark that middle there, and we're going to sew from the end to the middle, and then we're going to go like a 1/4 inch right past the middle, and then we're going to sew a 1/4 inch down here in the bottom. It's going to leave a very small space here, but we're doing that so that we can insert the elastic into the waistband. So I'll try to give you guys a closer view of that when I get to the sewing machine. Alright, we're going to start with the one side that we're just going to serge all the way up. Wanted to make sure it was catching. It was looking like it was a little bit off. Wanted to make sure. Alright, now we're just going to go to this side and we're just going to finish this edge. And I'm actually going to finish this bottom edge as well. We're just going to go up and do the last side. Alright, now we're going to go to our sewing machine and we're going to sew together this other side with a straight stitch because of the slit. Put a few pins in here. I put a pin here to mark where the notch was for the slit because it was going to be cut off with the serging. Alright, so we have this here. Make sure you're always back stitching. And we're going to pull out these pins. Clip our threads. Alright, we are going to start on our waistband. We need to put right sides together. One side, we're just going to sew top to bottom, making sure that we backstitch. 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now for this side. So for this one, I'm just going to sew a little past this middle section. Back stitch there. And then I'm going to stitch again, making sure to back stitch at the beginning and the end. I'm going to stitch very close right here to the opening. So on the right side of your fabric, it should be closed, and then you should have a little opening here, and then this bottom edge should be closed. When we fold this in half like so, we want to make sure we open these up like that. And open them up like that, so you have your opening there, and we're going to fold this in half like so. And we're going to put a pin there for now. You want to make sure that this side with the opening is on the inside of your waistband, and then this will be the outside of your waistband. Now we're just going to fold this in half, like continue to fold this in half, and then we're going to pin it to top of our skirt. Alright, we have our waistband here. We have our skirt, the top edge of our skirt here, and we're going to open up these seam allowances on our waistband, fold them wrong sides together, pop a pin in them. Now we're going to pin it to our skirt, making sure your opening is on the inside. So this way. This way. So your opening should be facing you, and then the side that has no opening should be facing the skirt. And then we're going to pin these to the skirt. And we're going to pin at the other side seam. We're going to line your side seams up just for good measure. Make sure you're pinning through all 3 layers here. And I like to give my waistband a little pull, and then start pinning the waistband to the skirt. It would be cool if my cables stitches were aligned with the waistband. I see these are. I don't know if those are. I didn't check for that, but it'd be a cool thing, but definitely not where I'm at with it right now. So I feel like this is enough pins. There's a little extra here. I want to make sure I don't have any bubbles. Put one more pin. There we go. So we have our waistband pin. I'm just going to go back to the serger and go all the way around to finish it. So we're just going to go in with our serger and finish the waist seam. go. So we have a waistband, and now we need to do the elastic. Alright, so I have a piece of elastic here. It's about 18 inches on the fold for my waist. According to the instructions for this, it said, you know, cut your elastic for what fits your waist the best, and you do want to make sure that it could go over your waist and your hips. But I a little hole there. This is fine for me. So here we have that opening that we made, and we're gonna take our elastic here. I like to use the safety pin method. Put the safety pin on. I feel like it's not focused. There. Safety pin on the end here, and then we're just going to slide it inside the waistband casing, and then we're going to use the pin to pull the elastic all the way around and out the other side. And then I think after this, the next thing we have to do is hem, and this will be a done project as well. I actually should have tried this on before we got to this step, but here we are. If we need to nip tuck anything, we can do it afterwards, I suppose. So you want to try to make sure you're holding on to that pin and sliding the fabric over the pin. You're about halfway around. Sometimes when you get to the side seams, it's a little difficult, but it should be easier as long as you busted open your seam allowances so that they're laying flat on the inside of your casing. If they're closed, sometimes it can be hard to figure out how to get through them, but as long as you open them, you should have less problems, I guess, trying to pull that safety pin through. So here I am. This is where I started. I'm going to keep going until I pull that safety pin out somewhere. There we go. So there it is. I'm going to take this out. And I feel like my elastic might still be big, but we'll see. I'm going to try to even out that sharing on the waistband so that the elastic gets pulled in. And maybe it's not that bad. So here we are. We're going to go back to our sewing machine, and we're going to stitch up and down across here. And then this is going to kind of get pulled inside, and then we're going to stitch it in there. So I'll show you that. Alright, we're going to take these elastic and we're going to sew them together. Give them a little bit of an overlap. Trim those threads right there. Here is our waistband. We're going to give her a pull so she goes inside there. Like that. And we're going to kind of pull this together. You can hand sew this like this, but I actually like to just kind of overlap it a bit and stitch straight down. It will hold your, when you stitch straight down, it will stitch through the elastic, but I kind of like that personally. But before you do that, you want to make sure your fabric is evenly around the waist. You don't want to stitch it down and then like all of your fabric is on one side or something crazy. So this looks pretty even to me. No big sections of gathering or anything like that. So where is my, it's right here. And I'm just going to go through here and add a little stitch to close it up. up your threads. Now let's try this on. So here's the skirt. I like it. Here's the slit. Do I think it can be higher? Like above the knee? Maybe like 5. Maybe take it up a little bit. And I think it can be a little bit shorter because I plan to wear this with boots. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do a 2-inch hem, and then maybe I'll wear this to work. If I wear it to work, maybe just a little bit higher. Like I want the knee to pop out just a little bit when I wear a boot. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make my slits a little bit higher, so I'm going to take out a couple of these stitches. Couple more. Alright, I feel like that's enough. So I'm going to go back stitch the edge of this here. Alright, so now I'm going to hem my skirt. I'm going to start here. I'm going to fold this side in 1/2 inch here, and then I'm going to fold her up 2 inches. Perfect. Fold her up 2 inches along the bottom. Two inches. Two inches. Now we are back to the other side where I am going to do my 1/2 inch fold in first, and then I am going to fold up 2 inches. Then secure it with a pin. There we go. So I am going to start on this side. And I do sew my hems from the wrong side. You should sew them the other way, but I don't. So this edge here will be 1/2 inch or a little more or less. So I'm going to sew all the way up to where the slit is. Put the needle down, turn our fabric. We're going to stitch over the seams, and I like to back stitch right here just to make sure it doesn't come loose, because this is a tension point. I'm put my needle down. I'm going to turn her and attempt to sew 1/2 inch. It's a little off. There we go. Uh-oh. Off the edge a little. Now we're going to do the hem. So we're going to start here. There we go. Now we should be all done. Thank y'all so much for watching my sew along. We just finished part C of Simplicity 3010. We're going to do A next, so stay tuned for part 3 so that we can see all 3 pieces together. If this is your cup of tea, make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when I'm making new videos, and that you hit the subscribe button. But until next time, y'all, bye.